Hello students, welcome back to the new session. So let's start with a brief revision of the last session. In the last class, we studied about grid and snap mode in drafting settings. So I had told you how to set your grids, the spacing between the grids, whether you want your display as lines or dotted grids, points only. So you can select the option from display dotted grid in 2D model space as you're working in 2D drafting. You can also specify the snap spacing, as in snap will capture the corner points of grid. Alright, all the 4 points of a grid. You can uncheck or check the options in grid behavior, and you can even click on checkbox of equal X and Y spacing, so that your X and Y has equal spacing of, like for example, 1, X spacing is 1, so Y spacing is also 1 unit. But you can also rely on unequal. If you require in one of the drawings unequal spacing of a grid and you're taking help from the grid, you're working on grid, then you can uncheck the equal X and Y spacing box. Alright. There are also snap types. In grid snap, we have two options. Rectangular snap, we are already working in. Isometric snap, when we work on 30, 90 and 150 degree angles, and polar snap for polar tracking. Alright. So other than that, we also studied about ortho mode, which I had already explained you in few sessions back, how by switching on your ortho mode, you can draw straight lines in your drawing. The shortcut key for ortho mode is F8, that it is a function key, or otherwise you can press Ctrl plus L on your keyboard. So the lines would only work in horizontal and vertical way, that is 0 degree, 90 degree, 180 and 270. If you want to draw in angles, then you have to switch off the ortho mode, and you can take the help of polar tracking. You will be learning about tracking in the coming session. So other than snap and grid, there are other functions as well. So today we'll be talking about object snaps. So how to work with object snaps. What are object snaps? They are nothing but the snap points, the geometric points of an object, like an endpoint, a circle center, a line's midpoint. The basic reason to work with object snap is, like in manual drafting, you know where you want to point your pencil and start a line by putting your ruler. Alright? But in a software like AutoCAD, your cursor is your pencil. So it's not easy to capture the end point or the point from where the line is ending and you want to start a new line from there itself. So it's not easy. You cannot zoom in and then capture a point. Still, it can differ as per the coordinates. Alright. Yes, you can work in coordinates and you can capture through the coordinates as well, but still it's very time consuming. So we take help with from object snaps in AutoCAD and work smoothly while drafting. Alright. So you can switch on your object snap toolbar by going on toolbar and clicking on object snap. Alright. I'll be showing all these things in AutoCAD as well, but just first try to understand what are the points there inside this toolbar. This is the toolbar which will appear in front of you when you go to toolbar and click on object snap. So you have a temporary track point, you have a snap from, you have snap to endpoint, midpoint, intersection, apparent intersection, extension, center, quadrant. Then you have some settings, then snap to none, nearest, node, insert, parallel, perpendicular, tangent. So basically all the points which you required whenever you draw something or you draft something on your AutoCAD, you would be needing these points as help points, or I would say in AutoCAD language, snap points, to capture your points on an object. May it be a line, may it be a circle, you want to capture a tangent, you want to capture a center point of a rectangle, you want to capture a center point of a circle or an ellipse or an arc. So each and everything can be done through this object snap. This is the image of the object snap modes in shortcut menu. I'll show you how to switch on the shortcut menu also. Now coming to auto snap. So basically auto snap is nothing but automatic snapping of points on your screen. So you'll find the auto snap settings in your option dialog box. So when you open your option dialog box from OP enter or by right clicking on your screen and going to options, you'll see there is a tab called drafting. So when you go to drafting tab, you'll see here auto snap settings, auto track settings, aperture size, auto snap marker size. I've already introduced you with this object snap options. So in auto snap settings, there are four checkboxes. One is marker. Marker is nothing but when you move your cursor above an object to draw another object, like for example, you already have a line, all right? Now you want to draw another line by capturing one of the endpoints of a line, all right? So when you invoke the tool line second time and then move on the cursor above the first line, drawn line, you'll see the marker, that is the auto snap marker, will show you the snap points. Like for example, endpoint is in square, midpoint is a triangle. I'll tell you what are the symbols for each and every point. So that is known as auto snap marker. If you click on the marker, then only it will show. If you switch off the markers from here, your settings, then the marker would not be shown. All right. Then second point is magnet. Auto snap magnet means automatically the line would go towards the endpoint. When you're near the endpoint, it will capture the endpoint automatically. All right. As and when you click near that particular snap point. All right. It is magnetic. It will capture the your next line, first point as the last line's second endpoint or first endpoint, or a midpoint, or a circle center, and whichever you show through your cursor. All right. And then third option is display auto snap tooltip. Basically, when you go to the marker and just stop moving your cursor and stay there for a few seconds, you'll see as a tooltip there the name will appear on your screen. Like which marker is this? Which snap point is this? Is it a nearest snap point? Is it a midpoint? Is it a center point? Is it a endpoint? All right. So the last one is display auto snap aperture box. So basically, like auto snap tooltip, there is one more option to display your auto snap aperture box as well. All right. So if you click on this, your auto snap aperture box will also be displayed on the cursor, near the cursor, when you move the cursor on the particular snap point. All right. You can increase the size of auto snap marker, aperture size of your cursor. All right. So you also have object snap options. We'll come to that later on. So let's move on to AutoCAD, and I'll show you how to first invoke the OSnap toolbar. So on your menu bar, you can go to Tools. There in Toolbars, go to AutoCAD and click on Object Snap. All right. So see, this is the Object Snap toolbar. You have all the points, temporary point, snap from, each and every point which I had shown you in your first slide. Now, I'll draw an object, that is a line here. All right. Now, when I start drawing my second line, see, this is what marker is about. When I go near the first drawn line, this marker appears in front of me. As a square, this is the endpoint. So when I put my cursor here for a few seconds, see, the tooltip is showing me endpoint. This is a midpoint. This is an endpoint. All right. This is what I was talking about. So let's move on to OP enter. See, these are the 4 points which I was talking about. Now the fourth one is display auto snap aperture box. If I click on this and apply, now when I go to L enter, see, the aperture box is also appearing. Otherwise it's a very small form cursor, but when I invoke a tool, an aperture size becomes dotted. See, now it is displaying. I'll go back to option dialog box and click on display auto snap aperture box as closed. Now It will not show. It will just show as a cursor. The marker which is there on your auto snap is green in color, and you can definitely change colors as well. In your option dialog box, you can go to color and change your 2D auto snap markers colors. All right. If you change the color, as of now it is green by default. You can change the color as well, if in whichever color you are comfortable with in working on your drawing. All right. The best thing is you can become creative because we are designers, and the most important part is you should enjoy drafting, but maintaining the standards, the measurements, and the accuracy level of your drawing. All right. Okay. How to invoke the shortcut menu? When I want to temporarily switch on or switch off my snap points, I can select the object, press on my shift button on my keyboard, keep pressing. See, now when I move my cursor on my line, there is a small icon near the cursor. This is the shortcut key for all the points of my toolbar. So my toolbar will be actually operating through shortcut menu. So I have all the points of my snap points here. So I can temporarily start any of the point. Okay, within the drawing, as in if I'm drawing a line, if I'm drawing a circle, I can start any of the points within my drawing. You need not press your shift after clicking right click button of your mouse. Just before, I'll select the object, I'll press shift and then right click on my right button of my keyboard or my mouse. Then when you right click your button, then you need not hold the shift key. All right. So now let's move on to different points now. So the first and the foremost point is endpoint. So endpoint is basically, it can be the first point of your line or a second point of your line, or a first point of an arc or second point. The points by which you start your drawing object or you end your drawing object. In a circle, there won't be any endpoints. For that, there would be points like tangents and center point and quadrants. Okay. For objects like line, rectangle, polylines, then you have endpoints. So I'll show you your endpoint. See, this is my endpoint, a square. All right. Now, next is my midpoint. So when I show my cursor along my line, it will capture a triangle shape in the middle of the line. That is the midpoint of your line. So you can directly use the O-snap point and capture the midpoint. Now, my next point is nearest. Nearest basically selects a point other than midpoint and endpoint. Sometimes you require a point near to the endpoint or near to the midpoint, but not exactly the midpoint. If you do not switch on your nearest point, then the cursor will always capture through the magnet, auto magnet. It will always capture the midpoint or the endpoint. I'll show you how. See, as of now, I have my nearest point switch on. So it is capturing nearest points. But if I close my nearest point, for example, if I go to, for that I can go and close my nearest point on my DS setting dialog box, and I'll uncheck the nearest snap. Now it will capture only the endpoint and midpoints in a line. It will not show me any intersection point or in any nearest point. All right. Next is center point. Center point is like if I have a circle, for capturing, I want to draw a line or I want to draw another circle with the center of this circle. So if you take your cursor within the center point, near the center point, it will not capture. You have to go over the already drawn circle. See, now it's showing the circle point, a center point. All right. So now from the center point, I can draw another circle. So by just dragging your cursor on the circle, you can capture the center point. You can even draw a line just by going on this, dragging my cursor on the circle. I got my center point and I can draw a line. All right. Then you also have tangent points. Now if I want to capture a tangent point, see this is a circle. So if I want to draw a line on my tangent, I'll press shift and right click and go to tangent. Now it will show me tangent angles, tangent points here on my circle. See, this is the tangent symbol, a circle and a line above that circle. So it's capturing tangent points. All right. You can point to set the point. You can capture a tangent point. You can draw, then you can draw lines. See, that is what is about magnetic. See, now when I go to a circle, it is capturing the center point. When I'm clicking anywhere on my circle, it is directly going to the snap point. All right. This is what auto snap magnet option is about. All right. My next option is quadrant. So quadrants are, like I have already told you, there are 4 quadrants on a circle. So these 4 points, 0 degree, 90 degree, 180 degree and 270 are the quadrant points. So whenever I want to draw a line or something, I can click shift, I can switch on the quadrant. So now it will capture all the 4 quadrants. See, a diamond shape is a quadrant. First quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant. All right. So by capturing the quadrant point, I can draw a line. Okay. All right. So this is quadrant. Now you have intersection point. So intersection point is basically when you have 2 objects and you want to intersect any of the object with another one. Like for example, I have here 2 lines. All right, and I want to draw a line. I'll start a point and then press on intersection on my toolbar or select from the shortcut menu. See, it's showing me the intersection point on the next line, cross sign. So that I can, this is the point where this line is intersecting on this particular line. So I can click on it. All right. So this will go in the particular way. And I can type my next point or I can click on my screen. All right. And give the second point. Enter. So this was my intersection point. This is the nearest point. If I draw a straight line and click on intersection, this is my intersection point. All right. Okay, the next is perpendicular. So now when you select the perpendicular snap, it will show you when you select a start point and then it will show you the perpendicular snap on the line. For example, if I have a start point here and I start my perpendicular snap, it will show me, see, perpendicular icon, the right angle icon. So this is a perpendicular on this line from this point. All right. If I click on this line, it will show me this is the perpendicular line, perpendicular point for this line. For this line, this is the perpendicular point. For this line, this is the perpendicular point. All right. Now, next is apparent intersection. This is basically not a part of 2D. So this is actually in using the object snap mode in 3D. That is intersection points in 3D. All right. So we won't cover this. Next, node. Basically, you can use node object snap mode to snap the points placed by using the multiple points. Like we had learned in the last class how to show multiple points on your screen and use the divider measure tool. So therein this node object snap mode is used. Basically, like here we have 3 points, P1, P2, P3. So these are the node points. So in the dotted lines indicate the proposed line. Okay. See, the tooltip is also showing node. So this is basically mostly used when you place your points on your point cell on your screen. All right. The next is insertion. This is used when you insert an image or an XREF on your in your drawing. Then this insertion points come. All right. It will show you an insertion point wherein you can make sure wherever you want to insert your image on your drawing, it will show, and then it will copy that image and paste it there. It will paste that particular block or image in your drawing. Okay. And this insertion point also comes when you insert a text. See, I'll show you. See, this is an insertion point, a square. So I'm inserting a text box here. All right. Next is parallel. So this snap is used to draw parallel lines. I'll draw a line. I want to draw a line parallel to it. So I'll select another line. I'll click on parallel. See, now it is parallel to this line. So now it is showing a parallel line. All right. So I'll click. I have a midpoint and I say parallel to this line. Click on parallel snap, parallel to this line. So now it is showing parallel line to this, this line which I selected. See, two dotted lines. This is parallel to that particular line. So this is how you use your parallel object snap mode. And then extension. Extension is basically a small cross that appears on the selected line. For example, I want to draw a line here. I'll just come to this. I have just invoked my line tool. See, along with my midpoints, there's small cross sign. If I drag this line, see, this is the extension line. So basically, I want within this degree of line, I don't want to start from the endpoint. I just want to extend a little bit and then start my point. I can start a point here. See, by taking extension, help of the extension snap, within the same level, I started my next line. All right. From object snap mode to locator point. Basically, it's about taking offset. Like here, point to offset from. This is a point to offset, and this is a point it will start from. Like for example, I have a line. So I'll say, I'll invoke the line tool. From the snap button, I'll click on from here. Okay, this is my snap from. Okay, I'll specify the base point. So this is my base point, and then I'll write, for example, @1.5 or anything, 1,2. So from leaving 1.5 in x-axis and 2 in y-axis through relative, it has started another line of, that is the offset line. That is again a parallel line you would say, or a distant line, the same line from a particular distance. Okay. All right. Again, it depends on you. You want to use this snap or not. It's not a frequent snap. Next is geometric center. Geometric center basically helps you in capturing center in a, for example, in a rectangle. Now, for example, I have a rectangle here. Now I want to capture the center point. I'll invoke my line tool. Now I'll press shift and in right click, I'll click on geometric center. Now when I drag on my rectangle, see, it's showing me the center point of rectangle as well. All right. Or otherwise, you can also use the tracking, that is two midpoints, all the 4 points, and then it will capture the intersection point of the center. All right. That is what is midpoint between 2 points. Alright. The next one, like for example, I'll show you. The one which I showed you through a rectangle is also one of the examples for midpoint of between 2 points. Otherwise, like for example, I have a circle here. I have another circle here, and I want to draw a circle in between these two circles. So what I'll do, I'll click on circle. Rather than pointing a point, I'll press shift and right click. I'll say midpoint between 2 points. So I'll select the midpoint of this circle and then a midpoint of this circle. So we'll take the center point, the midpoints between these two midpoints. Alright. So it will draw an imaginary line between these two lines and take the midpoint of that particular line. Alright. So now I can specify my radius, like for example 50. So this is my circle, third circle between using the two midpoints of these two circles. Right. So basically it will create an imaginary line and take the midpoint of the that particular imaginary line. Alright. Temporary tracking point. So this is used when you want to use two different points and then track another point, like I had shown you in this rectangle. You can click on the specified temporary track point. So I'll capture this midpoint and capture the second midpoint, and with these two midpoints I can track the center of the rectangle. See, this is the plus, this is the temporary tracking point, plus sign. Alright, and I can draw a line. See, again I'll click on this line and then track my fourth point through these two endpoints. See, this is my tracking and using of tracking points. Alright. The next one is combining object snap modes. So basically you can combine any two snaps and type it in the command line. You cannot use the dynamic input as of here in this option. So by using the comma, you can type, like for example, you want to use midpoint and endpoint, so you can type MID, comma, END. Alright. And then what will AutoCAD do? AutoCAD will search the specified modes, that is the midpoint and endpoint of that particular object there in your screen, and then it will choose the closest point of your object. Like for example, in my command line, I'll first invoke my line tool and then write MID, comma, END and then press enter. Okay. Now it is asking me line of. So I see when I drag my cursor on this particular object, there is a line. It's capturing the closest. When I drag my cursor here, it's capturing the midpoint. When I drag my cursor here, it's capturing the endpoint. So whenever I don't need to go to endpoint, I'll just click here and it will capture the endpoint. All right. So these are some of the modes which are used very less, as in when any particular requirement is there for a particular drawing. Otherwise, the major ones are endpoint, midpoint, nearest, center, tangent, quadrant, intersection, perpendicular, insertion sometimes. Otherwise, you will be using extensions and at times temporary tracking points. All right. So in the next class, we will do the quick revision of the snap points, object snap points, and we will learn about running object snap mode and using auto tracking, and we'll revise the function keys as well. All right, because it is related to the drawing aids. Thank you, students, and do go through all the points at home after the session.